Hello everyone. Ulduar has been on my mind, so I wanted to talk about some of the things that have been floating around. A little while back, there were screenshots of this window in Ulduar that did the rounds on the internet, with the idea that Xal'atath has been planned for many, many years before we ever saw her. A bit out there perhaps, but safe to say that our journey through the World Soul Saga, it is definitely going to take us back into Northrend.
Things may just spiral wildly out of control, leading us to the third part of the World Soul Saga. World of Warcraft, the last Titan. In this chapter, you will again be returning to the old world, this time to the wintry lands of Northrend. And there, at Ulduar, you will bear witness to the return of the Titans to Azeroth. And there, you will uncover a vast conspiracy, one that stretches throughout the history of the world, one that will challenge everything you think you know about the Titans, their intentions, and the true nature of Azeroth itself.
And one mystery in Ulduar, one very old speculation that could be brought back in today's story. Remember when we fought against the old god Yogg-Saron, and that we entered his mind? Within 3 different visions played out, we saw the assassination of King Lane by Garona half-Orcan.
Bad news, sire. The clans are united under Black Hand in this assault. They will stand together until Stormwind has fallen. Gul'dan is bringing up his warlocks by nightfall. Until then, the Blackrock clan will be trying to take the eastern wall.
1,000 deaths.
We will hold until the reinforcements come. As long as men with stout hearts are manning the walls and the throne,
Tremble, mortals,
Stormwind
before the
will
coming
hold.
of the end.
The Orc leaders agree with your assessment.
Your petty quarrels only make your will is no longer your own.
Which makes sense. Garona did not wish to kill the king, but were forced to do so with manipulations by Cho'Gall and the Twilight's Hammer. A Cho'Gall that was all about Team Old God and the End of Days. A solid connection to the powers of the Voids. Then a vision of much further in the past, the creation of the Dragon Soul.
It is done. All have given that which must
Tremble,
be given.
mortals, before the
I now
coming of
seal
the
the
end.
dragon's soul forever.
That terrible glow. Should that be?
For it to be as it must, yes.
It is a weapon like no other. It must be like no other.
His brood learned their lesson before too long. You will soon learn yours.
2 for 2. Another moment heavily influenced by the old gods, as Deathwing was listening to the whispers, following their guidance, and even more so these days, as Xal'atath's Dark Heart was a prototype of the Dragon Soul. 2 visions, both times a strong connection to the old gods meddling. But then there is the third vision.
Your resilience is admirable.
Tremble, mortals, before the coming of the end.
I am not afraid of you! I will break you as I broke him.
Yer-Ilaeth Shul-Anag. You will learn. No king rules forever. Only death is eternal.
Arthas the Lich King torturing Bolvar as Saurfang walks up next to him, already converted into a Death Knight. Why would Yogg-Saron show us this vision? Is this implying that the old gods had something to do with the Lich King's dealings? He does dare to call himself
Cower before my true form. Bow down before the god of death.
And that was part of this very old speculation. A connection between the old god Yogg-Saron and the Lich King. Not just because of this vision, there was also the material that they used to build up Icecrown's citadel. This has been done with Serenite, which is the blood of the old god Yogg-Saron. We have seen the black blood in action during the War Within, and touching the stuff is not exactly good for your health. Visions and different domains for those that lingered in the goop for far too long. Imagine the effects that it could have had on the Lich King. Perhaps not instantly, mind you. The Scourge that's been used to mine the stuff, the undead forces, they've shown to be far more resilient to its influential whispers than some of the other living beings that are stuck in the mines. It could be that the voice of the Lich King in the mines, it's simply overwhelming any other voices that are trying to worm their way in. Or it could be that death on the cosmic power scaling, that it has some sort of immunity, some sort of defense, a bonus against the void, similar to how the Titans were extra vulnerable to something like the Fel, Order versus Chaos, a bonus, an elemental advantage, also used when Sylvanas decided that enough was enough, she wanted out. And so she threw herself from the top of Icecrown. It was said that the Serenite spikes down below were the only thing capable of giving her a true death, and she longed for it. She got what she wanted. But to be fair, a shotgun to the face, it would later prove to be just as effective. A higher resistance against its manipulation, yet also a better chance at a permadeath. Running that by the more modern lore, we have connections between the Void and Undeath as well, and of course, we have this moment.
We Windrunners are just stubborn that way.
You? I honestly didn't factor for you.
Death comes for all, Xal'atath. Even your wretched kind.
We'll finish this another time, perhaps.
Sylvanas stepping out of the maw and scaring away Xal'atath. There's something there. Something in the domain of death, in the maw perhaps, that Xal'atath fears.
Enough! Make sure he succeeds. I have been to the mall. I know what the Void fears.
I'm sure you do.
Something built up far earlier in the Windrunner comic, back in Battle for Azeroth, where the Void, it did everything it could to get Illyria to take Sylvanas out. But exactly why is still to be explained. It could be that the Void is about 1,000 possibilities, whereas Death would remove all of them. It could be about domination, it could be about survival in general. It's hard to pinpoint, time is gonna tell, but safe to say that for the longest time there's been this bridge between Void and Death. Obviously, the manipulator of the Lich King turned out not to be Yogg-Saron, but rather we got the jailer that was revealed to be the man behind the curtains, but an interesting speculation for quite a bit of time. With our return to Northrend, will we also return to something connected to all of this? Looking at the windows and Xal'atath's mortal design, did whoever made these sick designs in Ulduar, did they try to warn us about the threat of Xal'atath? And on a side note, you should totally check out the designs of the doors in places like Ulduar. The old architecture goes really hard, it looks pretty damn cool. Now another fun bit is that we've got Yogg-Saron, right? And in Legion, there were echoes of the old god's powers popping up during the pre-events. Not sure if they want to bring this back, but we do know that the roots of the world tree Endrasil, which means crown of the snow, it touched Yogg-Saron's subterranean prison, and it would give them the foundation for the Emerald Nightmare. That's pretty well known. The big world tree that they were forced to chop down, they now call it Vordrasil, Broken Crown, and its roots, it didn't even make it into Harandar. Now, a corrupted world tree that did make it over, that is Xal'atath, This corrupted world tree we dealt with back in Legion, the whole Emerald Nightmare storyline where we take on Xaviers and all that. What's interesting, you might ask, is that we don't know who it was that planted Xal'atath, and that its name is speculated to be Crown of Shadow. This tree would be the major corrupted one by the light in midnight, or at least the roots of said tree, causing all that trouble for the Heronir down below. What if this tree was planted by, or whispered to be planted by none other than Xal'atath, inspired perhaps by what Yogg-Saron was able to do? Could we see a world in which the blade of the Black Empire made its way into the hands of a druid? I don't know. I was working on the story of the Heronir, and I thought it was a really cool gap in the lore that popped up where we don't know who planted that world tree, and yet it played such a massive role. Now, it was Yogg-Saron that described Azeroth as
the end of days is finally upon you, and all who inhabit this miserable little seedling.
Which, with time, proved to be more true than we could have ever possibly imagined. That little seedling has been taken and locked away by the Titans and their keepers. Big machinery slammed into the side of the planet to help her grow and mature, but also keep her neatly locked away and in line with their visions of order. She's been trying to break free, and now Xal'atath is closer to claiming the world's soul than she's ever been before. Only time will tell what we'll see play out in Northrend, but there are quite a few hooks and events and moments of the past that they could weave into the story. The things we spoke about today, or rebuilding the final Titan, the corruption of the Keepers in Ulduar, the K'thraxi generals that were sent after Tyr and his allies, a wing of Ulduar that was taken into the sky by Odin, which is then the origin point for Helya, the Valkyr, and the extension of all their influence. The more you think about this facility, about Ulduar, the more plot threads and connections come to the surface. Some that we didn't even realize, like a bald child staring at us from a broken window. With that though, I think I've been yapping on for long enough. When we go to Northrend, what story would you like to see play out? Let me know in the comments down below. And for now, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Subscribe if you like my videos. Leave a like if you know this one. And until next time. See ya!